Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the ISS Resilient, watching the massive dust cloud that had appeared at the edge of the Kuiper Belt 3 days ago. The phenomenon had baffled Earth's astronomers until the first transmissions came through. "Commander," Lieutenant Park's voice broke through her contemplation. "We're receiving another signal from the cloud. Much stronger this time." Chen turned from the viewport, her expression carefully neutral despite the tension building in her chest. "Put it through." The bridge's holoscreen flickered to life, revealing a face that was simultaneously alien and familiar. The being had silvery blue skin that seemed to shimmer like moonlight on water, with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Despite its otherworldly appearance, the expression of exhaustion and worry was unmistakably universal. "This is High Marshal Zexera of the Meridian Fleet." The alien spoke, their words automatically translated by Earth's first contact protocols. We request emergency assistance." Chen straightened her uniform, acutely aware that she was among the first humans to officially interact with an alien species. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the International Spaceship Resilient. We're monitoring your situation. Please explain the nature of your emergency." The alien's upper eyes blinked in sequence. "We are refugees, Commander. Our home system was consumed by a quantum cascade failure. We managed to evacuate 12 million civilians, but our exodus has taken its toll. Our antimatter containment systems are failing. Without assistance, we estimate catastrophic failures will begin within 72 Earth hours." The bridge crew exchanged glances. 12 million refugees. The scale was almost incomprehensible. "High Marshal," Chen replied, choosing her words carefully. "We want to help, but I need to be direct. Earth's technology is likely far behind yours. We don't have antimatter containment systems or quantum drives." A sound like crystalline wind chimes emanated from the alien. What Chen would later learn was their equivalent of bitter laughter. "Commander, we are aware of your technological level. We would not ask, but we have no choice. Our long-range scans show no other civilizations within reach. Our children are dying." Chen felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Her next words could shape humanity's first real interaction with an alien civilization. She thought of her own daughter back on Earth, of what it would mean to be faced with such desperation. "High Marshal, we may not have your level of technology, but humanity has something else. We're really good at fixing things, especially in impossible situations. Request permission to dock with your command ship. Let's see what we can figure out together." The alien's 4 eyes widened slightly. "You would risk boarding our vessels. The radiation levels from our failing containment systems are significant." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "High Marshal, if there's one thing you should know about humans, we're always willing to help, especially when someone tells us something's impossible." As the Resilience crew prepared for the rescue mission, Chen received a priority transmission from Earth Command. Admiral Santos's weathered face appeared on her private screen. "Commander, I've briefed the Security Council. You have full authorization to render any assistance possible." "But Chen," he paused, his expression grave, "we're picking up massive gravitational distortions heading toward the refugee fleet's position. Some kind of spatial anomaly. Whatever you're going to do, you need to do it fast." Chen nodded, already mentally calculating logistics. "Understood, Admiral. We'll need every ship we can get out here. And sir, we're going to need Earth's best engineers. The crazier, the better. Already on it. The best minds from every space agency are being mobilized. The Indians are sending Dr. Patel. You know, the one who jury-rigged a fusion reactor from spare parts during the Mars crisis." "Perfect," Chen replied. "Because we're about to attempt something that's either brilliant or insane. Possibly both." As she ended the transmission, Chen looked back at the massive dust cloud containing millions of desperate refugees. Humanity's first contact with alien life wasn't going to be about diplomatic niceties or cultural exchange. Instead, it would be about something far more fundamental: helping others in need. "Commander," Her XO approached with a tablet. Engineering has some initial ideas about adapting our radiation shielding technology to help stabilize their containment systems. Good. Get me a direct line to their engineering team. And contact Dr. Patel. Tell her to bring every crazy idea she's ever had that might work in space. We're about to show our new friends what humans do best. The Resilience engines flared to life as they approached the massive alien fleet. Behind them, dozens of Earth's ships were already breaking orbit, racing to join what would become humanity's greatest rescue mission. They had 72 hours to save 12 million lives. Chen smiled grimly. It was time to show the galaxy what humanity could do. The size of the Meridian flagship made the Resilient look like a lifeboat beside an ocean liner. As Commander Chen stepped through the airlock, her radiation suit's Geiger counter clicked an angry warning. Behind her, Dr. Aisha Patel whistled softly, her dark eyes taking in the alien technology surrounding them. Their engineering is beautiful, Patel murmured, scanning the crystalline walls with her tablet. But beauty won't save lives right now. High Marshal Zexera met them personally, accompanied by their chief engineer, Valtech. The alien engineer's skin had a sickly gray tinge that Chen suspected wasn't normal for their species. Your protective gear is adequate? Zexera asked, genuine concern in their musical voice. We've dealt with radiation before, Chen assured them. Chernobyl, Fukushima, the Mars reactor crisis. Humans have unfortunately gotten very good at handling radiation emergencies. Valtech led them to engineering, a vast chamber dominated by what looked like a miniature galaxy suspended in a transparent cube. The antimatter containment field, Chen realized. The swirling energies were hypnotic and deeply unstable. The quantum cascade that destroyed our home system damaged the containment matrices, Valtech explained. We've been running on backup systems, but they're failing faster than we can repair them. Our technology requires materials we cannot synthesize here. Dr. Patel had already pulled out her tablet, running calculations. Commander, their containment system is incredibly advanced, but the basic principles aren't that different from how we handle plasma in our fusion reactors. It's just bigger. Much bigger, Valtech corrected. And far more volatile. If even one containment field fails completely, the antimatter reaction would trigger a cascade. Patel finished, taking out half the fleet. She looked up from her tablet, eyes bright with that familiar gleam that Chen had learned meant either brilliance or madness was coming. But what if we didn't need to fix your containment systems? What if we just needed to buy time? Valtech's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. I don't understand. Patel pulled up a schematic on her tablet. Look, your systems are failing because they're trying to maintain perfect containment. But we don't need perfect. We just need good enough to keep everyone alive until help arrives. Commander, remember how we handled the Mars reactor crisis? Chen nodded slowly, beginning to understand. We couldn't fix the containment breach, so we wrapped the whole thing in layers of magnetic fields and radiation shielding. Patel finished excitedly. It was messy and inefficient, but it worked. We can do the same thing here, just on a bigger scale. Way bigger. Valtech studied the humans' crude drawings with increasing agitation. This is primitive, inelegant. The power requirements alone will be massive, Patel agreed. But Earth's ships are on the way. Each one carries industrial-grade fusion reactors. They're not pretty, but they're reliable. We can chain them together, create layered containment fields around your antimatter cores. It's never been done. Valtech protested. That's kind of our specialty, Chen said with a slight smile. Dr. Patel here once saved a Mars colony by building a fusion reactor from mining equipment and spare parts. Sometimes the best solutions aren't the most elegant ones. A violent shudder ran through the ship. Warning lights pulsed as one of the containment fields fluctuated dangerously. We don't have time for debate, Chen said firmly. High Marshal, we need your decision now. Let us try our way, or we all watch those 12 million refugees die. Zexera's 4 eyes fixed on Chen, studying her with alien intensity. Your people would risk their lives, their ships, to help strangers. Why? Because it's the right thing to do, Chen replied simply, and because someday we might be the ones needing help. The High Marshal was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. Very well, Commander. We place our trust in human ingenuity. The next hours were a blur of activity. Earth's ships arrived in waves, positioning themselves around the massive refugee fleet. Dr. Patel coordinated with engineering teams from a dozen nations, adapting fusion reactor outputs to create overlapping containment fields. It wasn't pretty. Massive power cables snaked between ships like technological vines. Jury-rigged field generators hummed dangerously as they were pushed far beyond their designed limits. The solution looked less like advanced alien technology and more like a desperate patch job, which was exactly what it was. But it worked. Containment field stability at 60% and holding, Valtech reported, wonder creeping into their voice. It's actually working. Don't sound so surprised, Paddle said with a grin as she adjusted power flow calculations. Humans have been fixing things with duct tape and determination for centuries. This is just a really, really big version of that. Chen watched from the flagship's bridge as more Earth ships arrived, each adding their power to the growing network keeping the refugee fleet alive. It was a testament to human cooperation. Chinese fusion reactors working alongside American field generators, Russian radiation shielding complementing Indian power distribution systems. But as she studied the long-range sensor data, her expression grew grim. The spatial anomaly that Admiral Santos had warned about was growing, its gravitational distortions threatening to tear apart their makeshift solution. They had bought time, but now they faced an even bigger challenge. And this one couldn't be solved with just human stubbornness and improvised engineering. Or could it? Dr. Patel, Chen called over the comm. I need you to tell me if you have any more impossible ideas, because I think we're going to need another miracle. The engineer's tired laugh crackled through the speaker. Commander, I thought you'd never ask. You're going to want to hear this one. It's either brilliant or completely insane. Those are usually your best ideas, Chen replied, watching the approaching anomaly on her screens. And right now, insane might be exactly what we need. The spatial anomaly filled the view screen like an angry wound in space itself, its swirling energies casting an ominous purple glow across the resilience bridge. Commander Chen studied the sensor readings with growing concern, while Dr. Paddle explained her latest plan to the assembled human and alien leadership. The anomaly is essentially a massive gravitational storm, Paddle said, manipulating the holographic display. Our jury-rigged containment fields won't hold against those forces, but maybe they don't have to. High Marshal Zexera's expression was unreadable. Explain. Patel pulled up a new simulation. Your ships still have functional quantum navigation systems, even if the drives are dead. They're designed to plot paths through space-time distortions. If we combine that with our containment field network, we could create a bubble. Valtech finished, 4 eyes widening in understanding. Using your crude but effective magnetic fields to reinforce our quantum navigation shields. Exactly. Patel's excitement was infectious. We can't stop the storm, but we might be able to ride it out. Chen raised an eyebrow. Might. The math works, Patel insisted. Theoretically, we'd need to position Earth's ships in a very specific formation, basically creating a giant electromagnetic umbrella around the refugee fleet. It's never been attempted at this scale, but neither was anything else we've done today. Chen finished. She turned to Zexera. High Marshal, this is your call. The anomaly will hit us in less than 6 hours. We can try to outrun it, but with your ships running on emergency power, we would not make it, Zexera acknowledged. They were quiet for a moment, their silvery skin reflecting the purple light of the approaching storm. There is a human expression I have learned today. Caught between a rock and a hard place, it seems appropriate. We have another expression, Chen offered with a slight smile. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. The alien leader made that crystalline chiming sound again, but this time it seemed more like genuine amusement than bitter laughter. Very well, Commander. Let us venture together. The next 5 hours were organized chaos. Earth ships moved into precise positions, forming a massive geometric pattern around the refugee fleet. Power cables were reinforced, backup systems were brought online, and every available engineer worked to integrate human and alien technology into something that had never existed before. Formation complete, Lieutenant Park reported from his station. All ships reporting ready. Chen looked at the tactical display. Nearly 100 Earth vessels surrounded the massive alien fleet, their formation resembling a giant snowflake. At key points, larger ships had their fusion reactors running at maximum capacity, feeding power into the experimental shield network. Time to anomaly impact, she asked. 45 minutes, Park replied. It's beautiful, in a terrifying way. He wasn't wrong. The spatial storm had grown to fill half the sky, its swirling purple-black energies punctuated by flashes of what looked like lightning. The sight reminded Chen of ancient sailors facing a hurricane with nothing but wood, canvas, and courage. All ships, this is Commander Chen, she broadcast across the combined fleet. We're about to attempt something unprecedented. Every calculation has been triple-checked, every connection tested. But in the end, this comes down to trust. Trust in each other, in our different technologies, in our shared determination to survive. She paused, watching the storm approach. Humans have faced impossible odds before. We've survived natural disasters, nuclear accidents, space catastrophes. Each time, we've done it by working together, by refusing to give up. Today, we face this challenge not just as humanity, but as part of something bigger. Whatever happens, we face it together. Acknowledgements came in from every ship, human and alien voices mixed together in a chorus of determination. Dr. Patel's voice cut through the chatter from engineering. Commander, we've got a problem. The power grid is fluctuating more than expected. We need more stability, or the whole network could collapse when the storm hits. Chen frowned. Options. We need something to serve as a central power regulator, Patel explained. The Resilience Fusion Core could do it, but we'd have to route all power through our systems. The radiation exposure would be significant. What about the crew? The bridge is shielded enough. Engineering isn't. Chen understood the unspoken message. Someone would have to stay in engineering to manually maintain the power flow. The radiation exposure would be lethal. I'll do it, Patel said quietly. I designed the system. I should be the one to. No, Chen cut her off. You're needed to coordinate the entire network. I'll go. Before anyone could protest, alarms blared across the ship. The anomaly had accelerated. Impact in 10 minutes, Park shouted. Chen stood from her command chair. XO, you have the bridge. Dr. Patel, meet me in engineering. High Marshal, may fortune favor us all. As she strode toward the turbolift, Chen thought of her daughter back on Earth, of the millions of alien children sleeping in their rescue pods, of all the lives hanging in the balance. Sometimes leadership meant making hard choices. Sometimes survival came at a price. The storm was coming. It was time to show the universe what humanity was made of. The Resilience engineering deck thrummed with deadly energy as Commander Chen raced through final preparations. Warning symbols flashed across every surface, the ship's computer desperately trying to convey the danger of what they were attempting. Commander, Dr. Patel's voice crackled through the radiation interference. The power regulators are ready. But please, let me do this instead. Not happening, Doctor, Chen replied, checking seals on her radiation suit. You're the only one who fully understands both systems. If something goes wrong, you're our best chance of fixing it. She managed a grim smile. Besides, I outrank you. The ship shuddered as the first gravitational waves hit. Through the reinforced viewport, Chen watched the storm's purple tendrils wrap around their makeshift shield bubble. The combined human-alien defense network crackled with energy, straining against forces it was never designed to withstand. Impact in 3 minutes. Lieutenant Park's voice echoed through the ship. All hands, brace for gravitational distortion. In the command center they'd established on the Meridian flagship, Dr. Patel worked frantically with Valtech, their different technologies dancing together in an improvised symphony of survival. The alien engineer had abandoned their earlier skepticism, fully embracing the human approach of whatever works. Power spike in Sector 7. Valtech called out. The human vessels there are experiencing structural strain. Patel's fingers flew across her controls, rerouting power from Sectors 3 and 5 to compensate. Commander, we need more power through the main regulator. Chen reached for the manual override controls, her movements already sluggish from radiation exposure. Diverting emergency power now. How's the shield holding? Patel's voice caught. It's working better than expected. The gravitational forces are actually strengthening the quantum field somehow. Valtech, are you seeing this? The alien engineer's 4 eyes were fixed on their readings. Impossible. The crude magnetic containment is creating a resonance effect with our quantum navigation systems. It's generating a self-reinforcing stability loop. Another violent shudder ran through the ship. Chen stumbled, catching herself on a console. Her radiation suit's warning systems were screaming now, but she forced herself to focus on the power readings. Commander, Park's voice came through, heavy with concern. Your radiation exposure is approaching critical levels. You need to evacuate engineering. Negative, Chen gritted out. The regulators need manual adjustment to maintain the resonance effect. How long until we clear the storm? 7 minutes at current speed. Plenty of time. Chen tried to keep her voice light, even as her vision began to blur. Dr. Patel, what's the status of the alien fleet? All ships reporting stable power. The containment fields are holding. Commander, Sarah, we can try to. Focus on keeping those ships safe, Aisha. That's an order. Chen blinked hard, fighting to stay conscious. Tell my daughter. Tell her I. Suddenly, a new voice cut through the communications. Incoming transmission from the fleet's medical ship. Park announced. Hi, Marshal, they're saying something about stasis technology. Zexera's voice carried an urgency Chen had never heard before. Commander, our medical ships carry quantum stasis chambers. If we can reach you in time. No, Chen managed. Breaking the shield formation now would collapse the entire network. Millions would die. Sarah. It was Patel again. The resonance effect. It's self-sustaining now. The regulators don't need manual control anymore. Get out of there. Chen looked at her readings, confirming Patel's assessment. The impossible combination of human and alien technology had created something new, something that worked better than either system alone. She laughed weakly, already stumbling toward the exit. Now that's what I call human-alien cooperation. The next few minutes were a blur. Chen remembered emergency teams in strange-looking suits rushing into engineering. She remembered a sensation like being wrapped in liquid starlight. Then darkness. She awoke 3 days later in the Meridian Fleet's medical bay, her cells restored by alien healing technology. The first thing she saw was High Marshal Zexera's face, all 4 eyes curved in what she now recognized as their version of a smile. Welcome back, Commander, the alien leader said softly. You humans, you continue to amaze us. Not just your technology or your improvisation, but your spirit, your willingness to sacrifice for others. Chen tried to sit up, but found herself too weak. The fleet? Did we? Everyone survived, Zexera assured her. And more than that, the shield design you and Dr. Patel created, the combination of our quantum technology and your crude magnetic containment, it's revolutionary. Our scientists are calling it the Chen field. It could change how both our species approach space travel. Not bad for primitive humans with fusion reactors and duct tape. Chen managed a weak smile. Indeed. Zexera's expression grew serious. We had misconceptions about your species. We saw your technology and assumed you were simple, underdeveloped. We were wrong. True advancement isn't just about technology. It's about heart, about wisdom, about knowing when to take risks and when to trust. Through the medical bay's viewport, Chen could see Earth ships and alien vessels working together, their crews learning from each other, sharing knowledge and stories. Humanity's first contact hadn't come through war or trade or formal diplomacy, but through a simple act of helping those in need. And that, she realized, had made all the difference. 1 year later, the observation deck of Earth's newly constructed Harmony Station offered a spectacular view of the joint human Meridian shipyard. Commander Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, watched as crews from both species worked together on a new class of vessel that would have been impossible just a year ago. The Chen field generators are integrating perfectly with the quantum core, Dr. Aisha Patel reported, joining her at the viewport. Who would have thought our desperate improvisation would revolutionize space travel? The best innovations often come from necessity, High Marshal Zexera added, their silvery form reflecting the starlight. Though I must admit, watching humans work still makes me nervous. Your species has an interesting approach to safety protocols. Chen laughed. You mean like the engineering team that installed the quantum stabilizers while hanging upside down because it was faster than repositioning the whole array? Precisely. Zexera made that now familiar crystalline chiming sound. Yet I cannot argue with the results. Below them, the first of the new Explorer-class vessels was nearing completion. It was a true hybrid of human and Meridian technology. Practical human engineering merged with elegant alien design. The ship would be the first of many, crewed by both species, dedicated to preventing disasters like the one that had brought them together. The quantum cascade that destroyed our home system, Zexera said quietly. We thought it was the end of everything. Instead, it led us to Earth, to allies we never expected to find. To friends, Chen corrected gently. Yes, to friends. The alien leader's 4 eyes tracked a team of human engineers teaching their Meridian counterparts about improvised repair techniques. Your daughter's class visits the refugee settlement next week, correct? Chen nodded, smiling. She's been practicing the Meridian greeting ritual for days. The cultural exchange program has been more successful than anyone hoped. Children adapt quickly, Patel observed. In the settlement schools, human and Meridian kids are already inventing their own combined language. It's fascinating from a linguistic perspective. A flash of light drew their attention back to the shipyard. The Explorer's quantum core had been successfully integrated with its fusion reactors, a sight that would have seemed impossible a year ago. The impossible, Chen had learned, had a way of becoming possible when different perspectives came together. We've received the long-range survey data, Zexera said, changing topics. There are signs of other civilizations out there, some possibly facing their own crisis. The Council believes the Chen field technology could help us reach them in time, if needed. From rescued to rescuers, Chen mused. Quite a journey. A journey we'd be honored to share with humanity, Zexera replied. Your species has taught us much about resourcefulness, about finding strength in apparent weakness, about the power of simply refusing to give up. And your people have taught us that advanced technology doesn't have to mean losing touch with compassion and wisdom. Chen said, Together, we're stronger than either of us alone. The station's comm system chimed softly. Admiral, Lieutenant Park's voice came through. The first crew assignments for the Explorer have been finalized. Would you like to review them? Send them through. Chen studied the list on her tablet, noting the careful balance of human and Meridian personnel, each chosen for their ability to think creatively, to work across cultural boundaries, to face the unknown with both courage and wisdom. You know, Paddle said thoughtfully, a year ago, if someone had told me we'd be building ships with quantum cores and fusion reactors, crewed by humans and aliens working together, I'd have said they were crazy. And now? Zexera asked. Now I think we're just getting started. Patil grinned. The universe is vast, and there's so much we can learn from each other. Chen watched as the Explorer's main systems came online for the first time, human and alien technology working in perfect harmony. The ship's name became visible on its hull, written in both Earth Standard and Meridian script. HFY Horizon. That's what humanity does best, Chen said softly. We adapt, we improvise, we overcome. But most importantly, we reach out to others. And now we're not reaching out alone. Above them, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if welcoming this new chapter in both species' history. The universe was vast and often dangerous, but facing it together, they had something more powerful than advanced technology or simple determination. They had hope, and that both species had learned was the most powerful force of all.